And who named us click, 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 click? Snake. There's a snake over here. It's all going to be relevant later on. Hell, oh, fuck, it could be relevant right now. Omega posted the fucking Aqua Teen returning. Fuck yes.
Yeah, I put that in the article, right?
Yeah, that was in Cox.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was definitely there. You know, I'm wicked happy about that. They went off, the creators of Aqua Teen said early and often that the show would evolve the way the show evolved, and they wouldn't be trying to stick to a format or basically whatever every TV sitcom has done, every comedy show has done. They find, a pattern and they fall into it. Like The Simpsons. The Simpsons is basically unchanged for the past 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, there was a little, they had a little back and forths and there was a little experimentation. That's why, I don't know, seasons 7 through 14 are kind of like the golden years in my opinion, I think. But yeah, now they're on season 35. And it's like, yeah okay. it's gonna be some show that in some way pertains to a movie that got released recently, or a TV show that's popular. Like, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a parody spin-off with a story attached to it. That's just how they do. But Aqua Teen, yeah, I'm curious to see, after 8 years being off the air, they ended with Aqua Unit Patrol Squad, where they were doing, like, noir detective.
Don't forget the one. Aqua Unit Patrol Squad.
Quad 1. Yeah, that's right. Okay, they kept on changing the name towards the last seasons. It was...
There were different versions. I always thought it was just Aqua Unit Patrol Squad 1 was the actual name.
Oh shit, I should break out that archive because I have there were like 12 seasons of Aqua Teen, and you and I stopped watching after 7, I think, and then later on...
somewhere in that range.
Later on, I watched 8, 9, 10, 11. And yeah, I watched the evolution happen, and it stopped being... You know how, like, season 1, the tail end of season 1 and season 2 and season 3, and to an extent season 4, like, you could just take a line out of that show and apply it to basically anything. It was the perfect memeable show.
Yeah, it was that show was the living embodiment of meme culture before meme culture existed. It was actually kind of amazing when you think about it like that, because that show was infinitely memeable in a time before memes were, the institution that they are today. That's absolutely a great point. Because we still reference, and that's all a meme is. We still
it's a reference
memes of that all the time.
All the fucking time. And most of it flies by people because they don't like, or they don't know about Aqua Teen Hunger Force because they're uncultured swine.
Well, what makes a meme is the fact that it is culturally known. And for us, the Aqua Teen meme just happens to be a very specific subculture, you could say.
My God. Yeah, so anyway, we've got Masami and Zero. Yeah, you've heard us make 1,000 Aqua Teen references, and it probably just went right by you.
Not 100%. I do get some of them, not a lot of them, because I didn't really watch the show until... I haven't watched all of it. I've only caught episodes here and there.
Yeah, for me, it was a religious experience.
It's a show that you have to go through a Stockholm Syndrome-like introduction to.
You have to be forced to watch it at first?
Where you are drugged.
Yes. Drugs help.
You need to be on drugs. And you need to watch many episodes in a row. And it starts off like, what the fuck? This is the most ridiculous, stupid shit. This isn't funny. This is so dumb. And then, like, in the 3rd or 4th episode, you start chuckling. And then, like...
It's a cascade.
By like an hour in... Keep in mind, these are like 11-minute episodes.
Yeah, they're not long.
So, like, once you get past, like, that first half of the first season and into the second half of it, and then especially into the second season is when it really picks up, then you're just fucking hooked. But, like, there was a period of time where I was watching this, I was just like, what the fuck is this garbage? And then it became the funniest fucking shit in the world.
You just end off the episode for no apparent reason whatsoever. You just cut to a scene of a spaceship with these two pointy one orange spiky guy and one green spiky guy, and the orange guy's on roller skates. He's like, "That's why I said you could not buy the roller skates. Hey, what happened to the window?" Ah!
That show was
like the
dumb
best one
ADD culture.
Oh my god.
The meme that has taken a hold of pretty much everything is, you look at him and you tell me that there's a God.
Yeah.
I was made in his own image.
They're just there was a time, I don't have the idiot savant recall ability that Doc has for it, but there was a time when he could still do it, but when he and I could just sit down and like bounce like ping pong lines of an entire episode back and forth.
You can have a conversation using references from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. You absolutely can, yes.
And the show has so many memes that are just so applicable to everything.
This was one of the greatest shows, one of the greatest cartoons that I think I've ever seen in my entire life. It might outrank Futurama. But again, Futurama was another show that had a shit ton of memes across it, and it also had coherent storylines, which is something that Aqua Teen lacked most of the time. But that's one of the things that made it great.
That show didn't need a storyline. It was just got in the way.
Mothman the guys go on vacation, and Mothman just shows up and takes up residence in their house. He gets back, he's just like, yeah, I live here. It was the same guy that does the voice of Archer, and Bob from Bob's Burgers played Mothman on Aqua Teen. That was the other thing that we got out of Aqua Teen, was a whole lot of voice actors who weren't necessarily well known or established at the time that they were on Aqua Teen, but they went on to do other shows of, cultural prominence. Archer being one, Bob's Burgers being another. There are voice actors in both of those that were in Aqua Teen. They did get... Who's the guy that was the voice of Space Ghost? He was established, and he came on Aqua Teen a bunch. Rob Lowe. Yeah, so there were a lot of voice actors that just came in and out of Aqua Teen and went on to do things, and people would probably know them more today. Tina Fey was on Aqua Teen before 30 Rock was a thing. But she was probably well known for her bits on Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live. But in the voice acting community, that might have been the first time that I was just like, oh yeah, it's her.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. It was a great fucking show. Anyway, where I was going with that ages ago is that as the show went on, they did less. It seems to me that they did less and less of that. It went into zany madcap or just absurdist satire, and they did more. I want to say like storylines, more. Like, we're trying to get from A to B, as opposed to early Aqua Teen, which is, we're starting at A, we have no idea where this goes. We'll find out as we write it. But yeah, it's nice to see. I'm interested in what they come back with. Because the preview images look kind of fun.
Have we started the podcast?
Oh, yeah. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Church of Chonkwij podcast. My name is whatever the fuck. I'm joined tonight by OmegaConstruct, Pun Lord Mesquitme, and the Hershey Squits. Thank you all for coming along. I should probably pull up chat, too. Yeah, how's it going? How was last week for it? We didn't do a podcast last week because I felt like shit, and Masami was traveling Or abroad.
I was in Florida last week at this time, and I I miss it.
Really?
Like,
yeah,
it
okay.
being
Well, I'm glad
Florida,
that you enjoy.
it being Florida notwithstanding, because obviously they were, it's Florida. However, I didn't hurt while in Florida, and I didn't realize how much I hurt normally until I got to Florida, and all my joints relaxed at once.
It's the humidity. It's good for the humors.
And the 70-degree weather. That was also fucking amazing. It is 2 degrees right now. 2.
Sounds great. I'm a cold weather beast.
My hips would like to disagree with you.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And as we know, they don't lie.
Other brothers can't deny. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's, yeah. How many times can I say yeah? Being uninterrupted, yeah. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. So, if we can interrupt Destiny for just a moment, we're going to the story that we probably should have covered earlier because, it's everybody knows by now, but NetEase finalized its divorce with Blizzard, and it got a lot of attention when their employees went outside and smashed up a WoW statue. There is Zero, you can explain why this is ironic, but it's a statue of the two-handed axe Gorehowl. For some reason, it was
no irony. They just decided to destroy shit, and honestly, I'm kind of okay with it. Because I mean,
no, it's sorry. It's ironic because Gorehowl in lore of WoW is a weapon that is involved in some quote epic betrayals.
Well, that is a fact. But
so that's why. Please continue.
But it what makes it better is this completely, for lack of a better way of putting it, butt fucks the entirety of the gold farming industry in WoW.
Where will you get your gold now? How is it possible to get gold in game without gold to buy?
Well, I guess you have to
play game.
Play game.
Play game to get gold? That does not seem like fun.
But no want play game.
No want play game, just want gold.
What are you, a Chinese gold farmer?
No, I'm what do I look here? I'm passively venting my rage at Lost Ark for basically being the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I must be one of the few players in the world that doesn't buy gold, even on the in-game market. I just don't. I actually play the game and earn my gold. I feel like I'm the odd man out, because I probably am. I'm terrible at that game.
That's how I feel with Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, not spending any money, not throwing real money at a game. What's wrong with us? There's obviously something wrong with us. But yeah, NetEase was responsible for distribution of. It's not only WoW; it's other U.S. games. But yeah, they were the portal for ActiBliz in China, and they no longer support WoW. They dissolved their WoW team. They trashed the statue of Gorehammer, which is just a Gorehowl. Sorry, whatever. Doesn't matter. None of this matters. Aqua Teen, it's the Aqua Teen reference, right? So anyway, and they're just done, and this has left ActiBliz in the position of trying to determine will there be another portal? There's speculation that ActiBliz will now be turning to Tencent because they're the only other Chinese company that can compete on that level, that has that level of organization and the resources to do maintenance for something like WoW, something as big as WoW with as many players. But the problem, I guess, that they're facing is that China is imposing stricter and stricter regulations on gaming, just generally. We all know this because we talked about it last year, but that was when last year was when they imposed time restrictions on people under 18. You're only allowed to play a certain amount of video game per day legally. Not sure how that's enforced, but hey, communism, whatever.
It's China. You have your social credit score, and you have to sign in with your social credit card.
It's funny, but it's probably true.
I think it's pertinent to say early in this episode that fuck China, or fuck Winnie the Pooh, and fuck Putin.
Oh yeah, sure.
Early, say it early tonight.
Fuck yes. Did everybody see that lovely tra-la-la that I posted?
I did, and it was funny, and I giggled and shared it in other Discords.
It's absolutely wonderful. It's
it's
bad.
They didn't find it nearly as funny as I did, but
it's horribly offensive to Chinese people, and it would be a real shame if people started posting that everywhere. It would just be a travesty, really. We shouldn't do it at all. Let's do it a lot later. So there's this void, basically, that needs to be filled if ActiBliz wants to reach. I think it's a $45 billion gaming market in China as of 2022. It's a huge fucking market.
It really seems to me like NetEase is taking the breakup a lot harder than Blizzard is. So,
oh yeah,
Blizzard employees ain't outside the building smashing NetEase statues.
No, Blizzard is just like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go to a bar tonight, and I'm gonna take home, some other company, and I'm gonna slam them for a while. That'll be my rebound, and then I'll get over it. Well, meanwhile, NetEase is like blasting Linkin Park songs, burning old clothes of Blizzard's. Yeah, they're definitely taking it a lot harder. They're taking
Blizzard
the
has
sweatshirt.
turned.
Sorry, this is a reference only Omega is going to get. They're taking the sweatshirt that Blizzard loaned them, and they're putting it back in Blizzard's locker as a sign of the breakup. Some high school
That seems
bullshit.
mildly passive-aggressive.
Oh my god, yeah, some of the stories. But yeah, so maybe this is something that Tencent would be interested in. Maybe Tencent will pick up the China portal to WoW.
Let's not say we did, because I think all of our positions on Tencent are equally the same. Fuck Tencent and fuck all of the things that they stand for.
I mean, I don't give a shit either way who it is. Fuck them all. But I just think the whole thing is hilarious. Really, just NetEase's reaction is the psycho girlfriend that like you're glad you broke up with.
Yeah,
she's like burning she's like smashing and burning the few possessions you left in her apartment.
Well, at first they are out on the lawn, and then she was like, no, that's not aggressive enough, so she started bringing things in and burning them. Yeah, no.
Inside? Oh god.
Oh, you got a fireplace. NetEase has a fireplace.
Are we sure?
Probably. But yeah, at this point, ActiBlizzard just seems to be taking a back seat on this one, just being like, yeah, I should never have put my dick in that. Shame on me. So, yeah, we're really not sure where this is going, but there were a whole bunch of videos that popped up last week of Chinese players just streaming. They apparently, the WoW players in China apparently knew when the servers would go offline, and so they all got together in the game. They were shooting off fireworks. I assume that was players in the videos that I saw. They were like wasting all of their consumables and just like having a giant party, and then like nothing, they just DC'd and they got that screen. Services are not available.
Honestly, that was probably the most fun they had in that game in a long time.
Might have been, yeah, a real community, a real bringing together of the gaming community. Yeah, but I
just have
feel
fun
badly
wasting all your consumables, not fucking grinding.
Yeah, that is true. Because nothing left to lose. I was just thinking, I do feel badly for the gaming community, just generally speaking, because it had been, WoW had been on in China for over 10 years, as far as I understand, and like, can you imagine just like 10 years of playing a game and grinding and accomplishing and getting all these characters and then just poof, gone?
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, that sucks. That's what I'm paranoid is going to happen to Warframe one day.
But what I think is most hilarious is that what's gonna happen is Blizzard's eventually going to partner with some other Chinese company, and all those people who wasted everything in their account are gonna be like, well, fuck.
I do actually wonder if Blizzard has stateside copies of all those accounts, if that's something that they can restore, or if NetEase just had access to all that and burned it.
And watch fucking NetEase get sued into oblivion for it or something.
Man,
I
wouldn't
would
that be the
giggle
day?
if that happens.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. But yeah, rough week for WoW in China.
Yeah, the whole thing is pretty nuts.
I will say this: having seen the level of gold farmer spam in the last month, and then all of the sudden, all of it just disappeared. And the days that I've been logged in, there has not been at all any like boosts or Chinese boosts or gold selling inside of trade chat in any of the major cities.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. You take a Life of Brian approach to this and always look on the bright side of life.
Mm-hmm. I would whistle, but it would probably blow everybody's eardrums out, so I won't do that.
We'd get copy striked.
Ba-da, 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 ba-da.
Oh, man. Eric Idle. Very talented man. So yeah, that's Blizzard. I thought, yeah, that's just no idea where Blizzard is going to go. I assume that they want back into the Chinese market, but they've known that this was coming since, what, November of last year? It was when they failed to reach an amicable agreement with NetEase, and they've been preparing for this shutdown, so I don't know. But whatever, I don't play WoW. Fuck them. However, oh yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to say. In terms of Tencent, large companies generally bad, just in many ways. But as far as Tencent owning Digital Extremes has gone, Tencent really hasn't stuck their nose into anything. I haven't been paying super close attention, but it doesn't seem from anything that I've noticed personally that Warframe has changed much since they were acquired by Tencent.
No, I mean, it's the same team at DE doing the same work, except for their own internal changes, which, if anything, have been better for the game. Hi, Steve.
Yeah. Hi, Steve.
How's Soulframe?
Hope you're having a lot of fun working
God.
on Soulframe. That's great. Reb's doing a fine job with Warframe. Don't worry your head about that. Just let her keep on doing what she's doing. Reb, if you're listening, you need to take out the fucking console and PC icons above players' heads. It's really fucking annoying. It just annoyed Omega and I when we were playing it, and it's now continuing to annoy me every single time I have to log in and look.
I haven't played Warframe in months. I'm just gonna say that's the reason.
Yeah, haven't played it because there's willful segregation on DE's part. They're segregating the console and the PC community. They're trying to point out our differences. I don't appreciate that. We are one. We are all gamers. That's not true. We fucking hate console peasants. I hope they all get AIDS and die in fires.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to be recognized.
That escalated really quick.
I just don't want to be reminded of them.
Fuck. Can
Too
I
much?
just remind you? Can I just remind you that prior to the pandemic, I was a console player.
Yeah, and then you got better.
Like I was cured? Wait.
Yes.
You had some big old glorious PC dick inserted into you, and all of a sudden it made a man out of you. Like Mulan.
Is that what that weird feeling was?
I'll make a man out of you. Oh, that was a good movie. That was an awful movie, but the Szechuan sauce was fucking amazing. Okay.
Speaking of which, segue. Justin Roiland is no longer employed or being or has a no longer has a contract with Adult Swim / Cartoon Network.
Yeah, Justin Roiland apparently last year went into court to face charges of what?
Domestic abuse.
It was domestic abuse, but there was also a false imprisonment by threatening or poker face. Yeah, it was something else. I read the charge and I read through it. The point is, the guy has not been to court yet. Granted, his position does not look good. But again, this is a situation where, Johnny Depp gets accused of something and Disney drops him immediately. And then it turns out that he and Amber Heard are just both awful people. And yeah, maybe I don't know. The point is,
but that was like he said, she said, lawsuits in the press. This was like the police were involved, and he's facing criminal charges.
There have been absolutely no statements from the prosecution. The person has not been named. The only thing that was in the article that I read, at least, was that it was a woman who was living with Justin at the time. Or what's his name?
Justin Roiland.
Doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, Justin Roiland. Yeah. So there absolutely is. There's going to be a trial going on. He's facing criminal charges. Absolutely, he is. My point was just like, it's more appropriate to fire people because they're guilty of shit. But I see where you're coming from. And again, I started this off by saying his case really does not look good.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's definitely different, I guess, levels of presumptions here that you can make. When it's two celebrities in an ugly divorce lobbing accusations to in the media and throwing lawsuits back and forth.
It behooves them to compete for attention.
That's one thing.
Yeah, they release as many details as they can.
You don't get charged with a crime unless a grand jury sees enough evidence to at least warrant the investigation. And of course, that is not a presumption of guilt. But that is certainly a presumption that there's more to the story than perhaps a simple public spat. Police are involved, I don't know. Well, maybe police weren't involved. I can't say that for certain.
No, they were. At least according to what I read, the way that this came about, yeah, the cops were involved, and the victim, alleged victim, whatever you want to say, decided to press charges. So there you go. You're charged with a crime because police showed up. They feel that there is a case. Actually, they don't even need to feel like there's a case. All they need to do is listen to the victim and say, and the victim says, "I want to press charges," and then boom.
That's not how it works. A victim, that's not. The police will arrest somebody if there's evidence that a crime has occurred, and that the whole notion of pressing charges is kind of a myth. A prosecutor decides whether or not charges are filed, not a victim. There are plenty of times where prosecutors have filed charges when victims didn't want charges filed.
Sure. No, I absolutely know that can happen. All right.
It happens all the time. SVU told me so.
Oh, God.
Mariska Hargitay is just a hottie. Sorry.
Law and Order, a show that where everyone who's not a cop is automatically scum.
I mean, facts.
But again, there's not a terrible lot to say. We're heavy into speculation because there's not a lot to talk about because all the articles, every article that I've just seen and the few that I've read have all had the same information, which is there was an incident in, I think, May of 2020 or January of 2020 or so. It was a while ago. There was an incident. There were charges filed. He appeared in court, pled not guilty, and now we're finally getting around to the trial. That's literally all the information that has come out in addition to the charges, which is domestic abuse and false imprisonment, I believe. So we don't know anything. Nobody apparently knows anything outside of the suit itself, trial itself, crime itself, victim, perpetrator themselves.
Charges. We'll call it.
Charges.
Charges.
So yeah, that is. But anyway, yeah, that's the reason that was a segue is because Justin is the voice of both Rick and Morty on the popular television show Rick and Morty, which has one of the worst fan bases and one of the best writing teams. So Omega pointed out, Zero, you initially said, yo, that'll kill the show because he's the voice of Rick and Morty, but Omega pointed out that there are tons of people in Hollywood that just mimic people's voices. They can do it professionally. And
like, there are the people on TikTok doing impressions where Justin Roiland himself has commented and been like, put you in a booth and, get a studio processing that, you would never tell the difference.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's, that's not the problem. The problem is going to be his comedic timing and the amount of improv that his character, enjoys. That's a big part of the tone of the show, but that's what talented writers are for.
That was the other thing that I wasn't too clear on when this happened. Is I know that Justin is credited as a co-creator of Rick and Morty.
He hasn't written since like season 2, if I remember correctly. From what I read on the internet. But yes, he did create the show. He was a writer, but he has not written for some time.
Gotcha.
Look, actually, if we're being 100% honest, season 2 was kind of a dud. Season 1 was good. Season 2 was eh. Seasons 3 through current have actually been really good and hilariously funny.
Okay, all right.
So,
I was gonna say, I don't have the first couple episodes. Oh, actually, no, take that back. The pilot of Rick and Morty was rough. The rest of the first season was much like the first season of Futurama. It was watching a show get its footing, and from there, actually, I think it's been great through and through. Season 2, I liked season 2, and all the seasons since. But season 7 is coming out, and I'm not sure if Justin's voice will be. I don't know how they do episodes. I don't know how they produce. Essentially, so I'm not sure if all those episodes have been shot and the voice work has been done and they're just in post now, or if they are moving on to the voice acting portion of it and they're looking for another person. So I have no idea what season 7 will hold. But hey, solid writing. And everybody else on the show seems to be wonderful so far. So yeah. I am sure that we will hear more about that. We'll probably talk more about it because we're low-key Rick and Morty fans. The Zero and I at least are low-key Rick and Morty fans.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it much because people who talk about it are often insufferable.
I've never watched an episode.
Yeah, I don't want to be that element of the community that's just like, that deters people from watching Rick and Morty because
every fandom has that.
I know, it's awful. The shame of it is that some of the episodes are really genuinely fantastic. I mean, I do recommend it, but yeah. Moving on. Let's watch some Diablo Immortal while we talk about 343 Industries. Omega posted this one. 343 Industries, according to a rumor, will no longer make Halo games, but will oversee outside development reports. There was an update to this recently that says 343 Industries has denied reports that it is ending active Halo development at their studio. However, this was leaked.
Sounds an awful lot like what somebody who's ending their active development of Halo is going to say.
I'm not the murderer. That's just what a murderer would say. Yeah, so a new report came out, a new leak came out from Bathrobe Spartan, who is French apparently, and it was translated by Metro, that Microsoft's mass layoffs have hit 343 Industries, quote, hard, and will see up to a third of its workforce laid off. And this went on to a Twitter quote right here that I will now read for everyone's delight. It is in French, but you will admire my accent. It says, quote, Les licenciements au sein des 343 Industries s'inscrivent malheureusement en conséquence d'une mauvaise gestion du studio et de ses effectifs par les personnes in charge. I mean, there you have it. That says it all.
Makes me incredibly angry.
Yes, well said. Very eloquent.
Yeah. Anyway, the leak claims that 343 Industries will then take on a parallel role, overseeing new games and content while working on maintaining the game's engine, end quote. So there you go. Omega, insider thoughts?
Insider? Do what now?
Yeah, no, we haven't established a joke here yet. No, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you love Halo more than anyone, and you may or may not work for 343 Industries as CEO.
Well,
so,
what's funny, what's hilarious about this, to me is that Bungie, the studio that created Halo, was bought by Microsoft.
Right.
And Halo along with it. Bungie wanted out. Microsoft kept Halo. Bungie moved on. Microsoft created 343 Industries, which is named after Guilty Spark, or 343 Guilty Spark, a character in Halo. So the thought of 343 Industries no longer, like, them spinning it off to a different studio is hilarious. Like, what the fuck is the point of 343 Industries if they're no longer in the studio making Halo? That's literally their reason for existing, is to shepherd Halo into the future.
Yeah, I'm not sure what. I don't know what they do. Well, maybe they're, I don't know, maybe they're interested in working on other projects or something. I don't know. Or maybe they're just moving on to a consulting phase of their industry or of their company so that they can actually go in and consult on active video game development on other Microsoft titles. Who knows? Because I assume there's a lot of experience in 343, given that they were, weren't they behind the Master Chief Edition?
I mean, probably they are the studio that runs Halo. I don't know if anyone else is doing.
Halo to PlayStation, back to Bungie, confirmed? No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Oh, gosh.
110%.
No, yeah, if I could be misremembering it, but I thought that after Microsoft acquired Bungie and acquired Halo, more specifically, that, yeah, 343 was the division that updated all the games and came out with the Halo Master Chief Collection on Steam. / other platforms, doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't know where they're going to be going with this, but this is the latest news. There's not much more updates other than 343 is denying reports. And can I also say that 343 is just haunts me throughout the course of my entire life, because, Omega, you might remember a certain sitcom that I was fucking obsessed with in college. The production company for it was 343 Productions.
Oh, News Radio?
Yeah, it was named so because that was the apartment number that the creator lived in when he was starting off the show. God, why can't I remember his name? So fucking famous. Doesn't matter. But yeah, 343 seems like a number that is absolutely everywhere in my life. I'm like Jim Carrey in that movie, 24, starring Jack Bauer. That was so many references removed. Okay. Alright, so
we'll keep an eye on what's happening with Halo.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the next thing.
Is there
where is
is there
ActiveBliz
a-
going
Sorry.
with NetEase? And yeah, where is ActiveBliz going with NetEase? And where is 343 going with Halo? Zero, over to you.
Is there another Halo game in the making currently?
I
I think they were focusing on the TV show.
Okay.
Remember that failed TV show that nobody talks about anymore?
Because The Last of Us.
Master Chief a baller who fucks.
They just, oh my god, why is it that in every time there's a hero or a character who through their entire lore doesn't take off their helmet, do they make a fucking TV show and think they're fucking creative for taking off the helmet?
Carl Urban is coming back as Judge Dredd in the second movie. He's not
I'm
going to
actually-
he's not going to take his
I'm
helmet off in the
really
second
excited
movie.
about that. I'm really looking forward to that shit.
That is why that and The Boys is why Carl Urban has pretty much untouchable status in the gaming community these days.
God,
Yeah.
he was so good as Dredd.
He was. That was a really excellent action movie. I mean, they considering where they were stuck inside of a building the whole time, and they never stopped moving. But that was great.
I don't mean this as like a knock on him. I don't even know if like he was great in that movie or if that was just a great movie that he was in.
Both.
Yeah, but like they did a really good job. Yeah, and I'm one of the rare people who I fucking love Judge Dredd. Fucking Rob Schneider is a piece of shit nowadays. Fuck him. He's a dumbass anti-vaxxer fucking piece of shit. He can go to hell.
Flat earther.
Like, fuck him. But that movie's pretty great.
But every 80s action movie needed the wacky sidekick to add levity to Sylvester Stallone's serious Oscar-worthy acting.
No, that's a 90s movie thing.
I was going to say, what's bad is that movie was in the 90s.
No, the wacky sidekick is a 90s movies thing.
Oh my god, you're right.
They took the 80s action movies. I am an 80s action movie aficionado. It is the one genre of movies that I fucking love way more than I should, despite it being almost entirely garbage.
There were a lot of really bad, really great movies in the 80s. That it is unique to that period in time. So
but yeah, the 80s action movies are all about. Now there were comedy action movies, but those are different. Like the comedic sidekick, that didn't show up till the 90s, and the good 80s action movies were just like overly serious and dramatic, and like there was not much levity at all. Like you look at Predator, you look at the early Lethal Weapon movies, and then you look at the late Lethal Weapon movies. They had Joe Pesci, and then they had Chris Rock. See, that's a perfect example.
Yeah. Predator is a good example of a bad movie that was amazing. It was great. Predator 2 in the same way. Gary fucking Busey chewing the scenery was great.
Oh, and Predator 2? Amazing. Yeah. I love Predator 2.
It was probably my favorite of the Predator movies.
Bill Paxton, hilarious in that movie.
Bill Paxton's the best. He's the douchebag in that movie who has a heart of gold.
He is.
Like,
He is
that's the best kind of character.
He's a massive douchebag who is a great guy. Such a ridiculous. And I do not love Danny Glover. But yeah, Gary Busey showing up. Gary Busey showing up in his fucking Mylar costume.
His Mylar suit.
His Mylar suit with his freeze rays.
With his freeze rays and his Mylar suit that block all infrared, and then the giant fucking heat lamps that they carry around on their shoulders. You're trying to tell me that nobody saw that. Nobody at whatever government organization that you work for that poured tens of millions of dollars into your operation, nobody told you, hey, it doesn't matter if no one can see your body heat when you're carrying around basically a walking fire.
But see, you know, the best thing about that movie, though, is that it takes place in this, like, quasi-alternate dimension of this weird, like, dystopian hellhole version of LA where it's open gang warfare in the streets.
I gotta be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that's just LA in real life.
No, I'm talking, like, RPGs and, like, full, like, machine guns and, like... And it's insane.
How one half of the city is run by a Mexican cartel that call themselves the Scorpions, and they're just all about cholo life, and the other half of the city is run by some Jamaican voodoo gang who are just way over the fucking top.
Dude, that was the best. Their scenes, the Jamaican gang scene, the voodoo scenes were so good. So good.
Oh my god.
Oh man, I need to go find that movie. It has been far too long since I watched it.
It is great. It really is great. Oh, but yeah. The fuck were we talking about?
Who fucking knows?
Oh, Halo 90s movies. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the LA, what was it? The LA theme of, you know, of the gangs and stuff was never more personified than, what was it? Demolition Man. And
God, that movie is so good.
Oh God, it is amazing.
See,
and
they don't make
Sandra
movies.
Bullock before she won Oscars. Yeah, I remember.
He doesn't understand the seashells. He doesn't know how to use the seashells. Fucking Rob Schneider.
Again, Rob Schneider, great back in the 80s and 90s, horrible piece of shit now.
Yeah, what happened to him? Was he just always a piece of shit? I think that's what we've learned is that these people have always been pieces of shit. They just didn't have Twitter. Now that we have Twitter, it's just like we are just bold-faced presented with just how absolutely shitty people are. When
that and yes,
we could just pretend like they weren't.
As time goes on, you get a little more juice, a little more confidence, and then you come out and you state all those opinions that you've been keeping to yourself for a while, and people are like, "Oh, I didn't know that about you."
Well, the only people who knew that Rob Schneider was shitty are the few people who actually interacted with him. So, you know, maybe a few fans who are like,
Adam Sandler, David Spade.
Shitty. I mean, it makes you wonder how many of those people are also shitty if they're friends with Rob Schneider, and maybe he's just the one that's dumb enough to talk about it. But hey, if Adam Sandler's a piece of shit, at least he's not saying, like, massive piece of shit things on the internet.
Don't get vaccinated.
So there is and I have to say this, and it's just because, you know, the common denominator with all of them is Adam Sandler.
What do you mean?
He's a talking.
Adam Sandler is a giant piece of shit.
Well, he pulled them all together. He pulled together Rob Schneider and David Spade and named somebody else that is a constant in his films, in his comedy films. Anyway,
Kevin James.
He's got a whole group, but like, it's not like
he's just the guy who pulls them all together. He doesn't have anything to say about what tools they are.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they're
a
all
lot of marginals.
basically friends who came up on SNL together.
Yeah, they were real good
So,
on SNL.
It makes sense that they stick together today.
Jesus Christ! Now I got the Judge Dredd theme stuck in my head.
Farley
Which
was
is
still
not a
around.
bad
He'd be
thing.
one of them.
Dun 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 dun
And again-
dun. Judge Dredd.
If Farley was still around, he'd probably be the most famous out of all of them.
Oh, he would be, hands down.
Yeah, he was a gem. All right, so yeah, just moving on briefly so that we can get to the real news of the night. NVIDIA released a new eye contact feature that uses AI to make you look directly into the camera, and you mute this and play
Dude, this video is so creepy. It's so creepy.
Take a look at left side, right side. Real, he's staring off into the void, and the NVIDIA broadcast, he's looking straight into the camera.
It's like the paintings that are always looking at you.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Yeah, exactly. It is surreal, and this was part of what, broadcast 1.4. I have the update pulled up, and yeah, this was a big deal for NVIDIA broadcast. They also added vignette effects with virtual background enhancements. That's not getting as much attention, but the eye contact thing, which uses AI to basically scan your computer, determine where your eyes are, and just make your eyes look like they're facing the camera, is big. It's a big deal because it happens in real time, and it is not resource intensive. So this was NVIDIA's big announce last week, I guess. A couple weeks ago, January 12th.
That makes the whole notion of streaming seem really weird. Imagine watching somebody stream a video game and their eyes are trained directly at the camera. Imagine how creepy that would be.
It's very creepy.
I just thought about, so this happens a lot. Hot tub streamers have people have pointed this out. It's not a scandal or anything. It's not like a big deal, but hot tub streamers or just live streamers who sit and chill just because, they look pretty and they're giving their streamers something to look at, and streamers think that they're paying attention to their own stream, are actually watching TV shows or watching other people stream. And there are examples of this that it's been brought up a whole bunch. So when you just said that, Omega, I was picturing Amaranth doing one of her 24-hour streams where basically she's just watching a TV show, but she's sitting in front of her computer and NVIDIA has her eyes locked on screen and it looks like she's paying personal attention to you while she's doing something completely different.
Isn't that literally what she does during her 24-hour streams?
I don't know enough about her streams. I was just going to say yes. But now she can look anywhere. Oh, man. So anyway, it is a neat technology, but I don't, it's a little weird, a little creepy, a little weird. All right, and for the grand finale tonight, what everybody showed up for, and finally giving Masami and Zero something to talk about, is Amazon has a critical role to overall TV, and there's a first look at a film deal. And it has green-lighted, Amazon again has green-lighted Mighty Nine, the animated series. So yeah, I know jack shit about Critical Role. Take it away, somebody else.
I'm very excited about this. I'm like so excited because I have become probably number one Critical Role fan because Matt Mercer and the chemistry of all of them is just amazing, but especially, just how I love how Matt can turn on a dime and get everybody's attention back when they've all turned into 12-year-old children talking about penises. It's awesome, and I'm actually glad that somebody has picked them up permanently or written them to a contract. Because it's deserved, and it's something that they didn't think would happen. I mean, Matt has gone on record and said numerous times that he he was just doing this for fun with his friends. He didn't expect when he asked for donations for people to help them greenlight a an animated TV show, much less now them being inked to a long-term deal. And it's just, it's really cool. And I've actually looked at the Exandria or the Taldore book that he has put out, and I'm actually thinking about buying it if I can find it here locally.
It's worth it. It's a fantastic book.
Yeah, because I'm wanting to build my own world, and I think the bones of Exandria are perfect. Like, there is nothing about Exandria that is just not amazing.
It's a fairly well thought out world. So,
but and then to find out that I figured at some point the Mighty Nine would get their own animated series. I didn't think it would happen until after they finished with Vox Machina, but when I saw the announcement trailer, I squeed like a schoolgirl. It was actually depressing. I may have even done the little arm thing.
it's only alarming if you squeeze so hard that a skirt instantly appears upon you.
Okay,
Ayo.
no, I didn't squeeze that hard.
Squeeze harder. That's a good squeeze.
So, but yes, I'm very excited. I don't know if anybody else shares in my excitement for that, but
I mean, I'm
and
a
it actually
big fan of Critical Role, and I've been watching their streams not since the beginning, but I jumped in around like their 30th stream in their first season. I still haven't watched an episode of the TV show.
well, and they're actually, and this was an interview that was recently done, where they sat down with Ashley Johnson, and Ashley said that she's really enjoying the fact that they are allowing her and the cast to kind of rewrite the history of Vox Machina, because it's giving her a chance to be there and see things that she hasn't seen before. Like, there were things that happened that she wasn't there for, because the first season she was back and forth to New York and she was doing her own thing at that time. So,
Yeah, she missed like half the season.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Pretty neat.
So, but I definitely suggest watching the show, even if you've never, like, if you don't know anything about the first campaign. Watch the show and don't watch anything. It's like, and again, Taliesin Jaffe put it perfectly. Watch the TV show first, because watching the 200 plus episodes of the actual D&D sessions is like going back and watching the Lord of the Rings director's cut. So watch the TV show first. Watch the cartoon first, and
No,
then
you're talking like if you haven't watched Critical Role and you want to, like, strap in, because we're talking thousands of hours.
oh, absolutely.
We're talking 4-hour D&D sessions, some of them longer, not many of them shorter. And there was like 120 something episodes in the first season, 150 something in the second season, and I don't remember what we're up to now in the third season, but like an insane amount of hours to catch up on.
That's a lot of viewing time.
It was great when I was working nights. That's when I caught up on those 30 episodes or so that I was behind. And that's what actually started my interest in D&D. But yeah, it's a lot to watch.
All right. So yeah. First look film deal. I don't know. The implication there is that Critical Role movie might be coming out.
If they make a movie, the first look just means if they make a movie, then Amazon has first right of refusal on whether or not they get to make it or somebody else does.
Gotcha.
So Critical Role wants to make a movie, Amazon gets first dibs. If Amazon passes, they can shop it around.
Nice, okay. But yeah, that does it. That we've wiped out the topic list. So yeah, that was a good week in gaming. That was a good week in gaming and entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and I'm one of the few people on planet Earth, apparently, who has no interest in watching the Last of Us TV series. I'm sure it's great. It's been getting rave reviews. People have mistakenly been crediting the show for certain things that were already established in the game. That's kind of it's kind of a funny thing, in my opinion. There are all these people that are fans of a TV show, but they've never played the game, and they're probably never going to play the game, so they just hop in. They're just like, oh my god, credit to the showrunners for creating this amazing universe. And it's like, no, they didn't do that. They're adapting a video game, goddammit. But that's fine. But that's really the only thing. That's the only other video game thing that's coming out on TV, or the only other gaming thing that's out right now. As far as I know, we're all just really waiting to see where Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40k universe ends up. Where will it take place? Who will be the main character?
I watched the first episode of The Last of Us.
What hole will baby come out?
Oh God. Oh my. Oh. But yeah, no, I watched the first episode with some friends, and I mean, I've never played the game, so I have no frame of reference, but it was actually, I mean, it wasn't bad.
I mean, yeah, as far as I can, people have posted a whole bunch of side-by-side comparisons, scenes that happened in the game versus scenes that happened in the show, and it does seem like for at least some important parts, they are just copying the game frame by frame, which is not a bad thing. I mean, it's obviously going over well. But yeah, that is a super popular title that's floating around the internet right now. Oh, and also, speaking of The Last of Us, the actor who played Tess in The Last of Us, Annie Wersching, died today at 45 years old. So, rip.
I did hear that.
What happened?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure if there were, oh wait, was it cancer?
That's sad.
All right, I'm looking it up. Yeah, she was diagnosed with cancer in 2020.
Oh.
So yeah, that is a tragedy.
That is a bummer.
What caught my attention to this, unfortunately, earlier today was somebody posted on, I want to say 9gag. I'm ashamed that I pay attention to it, but I do. They posted a picture of Annie's headshot right next to Alice Krieg's Borg Queen from Star Trek First Contact, and they said the actress who plays the Borg Queen passed away today. Rip, thoughts and prayers, all the rest of that. And I looked at that, I was just like, wait, the one without the makeup does not look like Alice Krieg. You're telling me Alice Krieg died today? And I looked that up and went, no, she's fine. Alice Krieg is still out there. She's still a gem. So they apparently, Annie Wersching played the Borg Queen in Star Trek Picard Season 2, which I don't think any of us here... Masami, did you watch it?
What did I watch?
Star Trek Picard Season 2.
I have not seen Season 2 yet. I've seen Season 1, but I have not watched Season 2 yet.
Okay. Yeah, so I was just going to say none of us have seen Star Trek Picard Season 2 because Season 1 was such a fucking awful abortion. And at one point, Omega and I were going to watch Season 2 just so we could talk about it and make fun of it, but goddamn, that's a lot of punishment.
We were going to do like a hate watch commentary style podcast of Season 1 and then into Season 2 or something, or do like an episode by episode, everything that sucks about this.
Yeah, I still have the itinerary, I have the list that I made of each episode, each point that I wanted to address. It's up on Google Docs.
Yeah, we had quite a topic list that you constructed there. There was a lot to talk about. But, yeah, I think I've just accepted that Star Trek is dead.
But anyway, Alice Krieg is fine. Is where I was going with that. And it makes me even happier that Gabe's done quick this year raise the millions of dollars for the Cancer Foundation, because, yeah, it's still, cancer is obviously a huge problem all over the world. So, yeah. Anything else? Anybody else good?
I got nothing.
I upgraded my computer.
You did upgrade your computer. Okay, yeah. We're gonna, bench? Have you done a bench press yet?
Bench press?
That's awesome.
Have you laid down on your back and take your computer and just lift it up a couple of times, push it away from you a couple of times?
My new CPU is much larger. Funny enough, it actually has a lower power draw.
Yeah, that's the thing. One. Yeah, the 1080s that I had, or the 9 something that I had, were a bigger power draw than the 2060. The 2060 only has the one power cord coming out of it. How many power plugs does your
well, that's what's funny. When I went to put in the new card, I took out the old card, easy, done that a bunch, done a bunch of repairs and whatnot to it. And I go to plug in the new one, I seat it in the slot, and then I grab the power, and I'm like, oh shit. My previous card used two 6-hole power plugs.
And your new one uses one.
And my new one uses 2 8s. What the fuck am I gonna do? And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to open up the back of my PC and find those loose cable leads, and because my PSU has all the different cables sticking out of it. You just got to connect the right ones to the right devices. And then I had the moment of, oh, I'm a dumb fuck, because this power cable that I have plugged into my old one with its 6 and 6 has these 2 little tags on the side of it that add two more to the 6s to make them 8s. So we
crisis averted.
Yeah, I just plugged them right in and we're good. And I'm currently playing a PC port of a mobile game. My GPU is humming along at 58 degrees at only 600 RPMs on the fan.
Not bad.
Which is pretty...
That's where it should be. Exactly
fucking
where it
great.
should be.
My fan is barely humming. It's just chilling out. Idles with 0 fan on at 34 is nice.
That guy got right in your face, Zero.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, we lost Masami. Oh, she's got a boogie. I missed it in Chonkwij.
She's back.
She's back?
Earlier, that was a complete misclick. That was, yeah, sorry.
Gotcha. Okay. That's all right. We're going to wrap up here anyway.
No, my colon gave me a signal earlier that it needed to,
Boogie?
yes. So I had to go attend to that.
Wait,
Cosin's
does
exuberance about
Cosin? I was gonna say, does Cosin believe that he's your colon? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. No,
Cosin
I'm
needs
not.
to boogie. Hey, we all need to boogie every now and again. So yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you everybody for joining us. Big props to Omega. He's upgraded. You upgraded your RAM too, right?
Yep, I went from an R9 380X GPU from 6.5 years ago to an RX 6700. I actually went with the same company because I got such good use out of my XFX. For 6.5 years, it chugged along respectably, and it was a great price. It's awesome. I went from 4 gigs of VRAM up to 10. Clock speed is, blah blah blah, big number higher. I did the GPU benchmark side by side. It's basically 3 times better in almost every metric.
Yep.
It was like 200+% better, and it cost about the same as my old card did when I bought it back then. It's a fairly mid-range card. It cost me like $330.
Dude, so is my 2060. Like thoroughly mid-range card.
It's great.
It fucking chews up City Skylines.
It has lower power draw than my old card. It runs cooler than my old card. It's longer, but it has a slimmer profile, so it fits in the case a little better. Also, I upgraded my RAM from 16 gigs of 2133 DDR4 RAM, which is literally the lowest DDR.
It's the lowest clock speed that you can get for DDR4, yeah.
This was the other 6.5-year-old component in my computer, and we finally got those upgraded to the Corsair Vengeance low profile.
Yeah, you got the LPX.
32 gigabytes, 3200 clock speed.
You're rocking an XMP profile now.
So yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I do need to go into BIOS and upgrade all that actually.
Oh, good times. And here I am thinking about putting 128 gigabytes of RAM on my board.
Why?
Why, you ask? Because City Skylines. Because I can't have 10,667 assets the last time I checked, and it's not getting any smaller. I've already used prefab skipping to basically take out every single vanilla building in the game that I don't use in my city, and I'm pushing it. I'm shoving a lot of stuff into my paging file right now with 32 gigs of RAM. So I could go 64, or I could just do 128 and never worry about it ever again.
Except in a couple of years when City Skyline soon eats all of it.
That is possible. That is entirely possible. However, I don't believe for a second that either Paradox or Colossal Order are in a hurry to put out City Skylines 2, because they're milking City Skylines for everything it's goddamn worth. They've moved on to original shit for DLCs, and now they're pumping out DLCs to expand on already existing systems. With the exception of financial districts, that is actually new. But yeah, they're going at it, man. They are making as much money as they can. And really, that game would have died a long time ago without the excellent modding community. There are some very talented, very socially inept people pumping out really quality mods. And I say socially inept because I made the mistake of going onto one of their Discords and trying to ask questions. That's the meme that I showed you, Zero.
Oh, God.
I had to make a Drake meme because I thought, well, maybe there's a language barrier. And so I was just like, what if I used pictures to explain what I mean? And then it just came back, and one of the developers actually got it, and he was like, oh, okay, I see what you're trying to do. The other guy, who it turns out was just some rando who joined the server in early January, I thoroughly believe that he is a native Chinese speaker, or a native Mandarin speaker, and he does not fucking understand anything that I'm trying to put down, because he just keeps on, or either that or he's profoundly unhelpful. But yeah, there were fun stories about the internet. Stay off of people's Discords and keep off of Steam forums. Both of them are just equally useless. So yeah, GG's everybody. Thanks for coming on. Thanks. Thank you, Twitch chat. Yeah, look at Twitch chat. All right. Thank you for coming along. It's been a wonderful week in gaming. We'll be back same time, same space next week. Penis, fuck Putin, fuck Winnie the Pooh.
Fuck everything.
You touch my tra-la-la.
That's my motto.
Mm-hmm.
My ding-ding-dong.